The other night, I was at the UFC 250 event at the White House, and in between fights, I passed by Senate Majority Leader John Thune. He was partying it up, having a grand old time. He had a whole crew there. And I thought, what the hell are you doing here? Like, you're despised by the MAGA base. Everybody knows that you've been cutting off President Trump at the knees. You refuse to pass the Save America Act. You refuse to enact President Trump's agenda or appoint his judges. You can't even get rid of the liberal parliamentarian that keeps stripping out the MAGA agenda from Senate bills. And so it's a bad look for you to be partying while the entire influencer class and base hates you. This is like one example. It's Scott Presler, who's been posting on X for hundreds of days asking John Thune to pass the Save America Act. Scott Presler has millions of followers, and he's constantly going after rhinos in the Senate, including some of John Thune's best friends and lieutenants like John Cornyn. And I think above anyone else, it was Scott Presler who got John Cornyn's political career nuked from space by uncovering a video like this. A great example. John Cornyn saying he's for amnesty.
De fronteras seguras, él apoya firmemente la legalización de los Dreamers.
I'm John Cornyn, and I approve this message.
John Cornyn, for the Dreamers. You know, like the Dreamers who attacked the UFC event at the White House. Like, it was a dreamer. It was a criminal alien from Mexico that planned on flying drones with bombs into the UFC event. They've all been arrested now by the FBI and having a mass slaughter. Well, anyway, John Cornyn is for those dreamers. He's in favor of those guys that are trying to stage a terrorist attack at the UFC event that John Thune was having a party at. And there's another party in South Dakota right now. That party is the South Dakota State GOP Convention. Now, Scott Presler has been applying pressure to the state of South Dakota because this is how, of course, you actually are able to solve problems. You go into the state that sends these senators back to the Senate, and you say you shouldn't do that. And if enough people do that, you can get rid of like a Bill Cassidy or John Cornyn, and we just did that. You can destroy these entrenched incumbents, and they're not really that entrenched, actually. And they are not doing their jobs. A resolution committee voted to approve the resolution to censure Majority Leader John Thune in the state of South Dakota. And so in South Dakota State Republican Convention, Scott Presler showed up. And he was there to confront John Thune. What peaceful message would you like for me to deliver to John Thune? I'm here in South Dakota, not for fun. I'm here to be your voice. They will not allow me as a ticketed individual into the South Dakota Republican Party dinner with John Thune. They banned Scott Presler. I have a ticket for the dinner tonight with South Dakota Republican Party. They won't let me in.
To the dinner right now. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Well, apparently, they banned Scott and then kicked him out and sent the sergeant at arms to drag Scott out, kicking and screaming. Here is Scott with his ticket to the dinner. Coward John Thune demanded that Scott be banned from the dinner. Get a load of this. Get the hell out of here. This is the attitude of our elected officials for Republican voters. Contempt. You can't come in. Here's Scott Presler.
I'm here at the South Dakota State Convention. I have a ticket, and they are saying that I can't come in. So we're going to find out very shortly why I am not being allowed as one of the biggest supporters of President Donald J. Trump.
I'm big on Facebook too, and I'm the asshole saying you can't come in because guess what? You're posting this little piss and moan session on Facebook. So you just get the hell out of here. Thank you.
You see how the grassroots are welcomed in Senate Majority Leader Thune's territory. Interesting, my friends. I don't think this is a good reflection of the South Dakota GOP. But I thank him for his honesty, though. What's your Matthew Bruner, Sergeant at Arms?
So Matthew Bruner is really big on Facebook. He's got 12,000 followers. He's very proud of himself. He likes to drink a lot. Every photo is of him with alcohol, and I think he might have had a little too much alcohol in that scenario. And he says, I'm big on Facebook. And then the a-hole saying you can't come in. Because guess what? You're going to post this on Facebook. Weird, dude. Matthew Bruner really thought he was doing something special here. But he's been fired now. And this has turned into a PR nightmare for the South Dakota party. So here you have other senators saying Scott Presler can't attend the South Dakota GOP convention. Why is Scott Presler being blocked from the convention? I was being cursed at and disrespected. I was a consummate professional the entire time. The chairman of the South Dakota Republican Party confirmed that Thune asked Presler not to attend.
So how does he have the authority to remove people from events?
He has a nice thing.
He has a
Please let Scott Presler in.
he has a lot of security in there, and
Is Mr. Presler considered a security threat?
not to me, but I'm not going to go in there and argue with the Secret Service. Thank you, James.
So,
Did John Thune specifically ask that Scott Presler not attend this event?
Yes.
Okay.
yes. Thune's team did ask Scott to be denied entry. This is what they'll do instead of passing the Save America Act. Here's a photo of Scott at the front door. You can see here inside the dinner table, denied entry. They had a picture of Scott Presler at the table to say, don't let this guy in. All we did was take tickets. We didn't even take attendance. So how did they deny somebody? Well, because John Thune hates the activist class, hates the people that are trying to explain that the Republican base is upset with him and that he's not delivering for us. Thune specifically asked that Presler not be allowed into the event. Man, what a absolute wimp. What a coward. John Thune is a coward. He's afraid of Scott Presler. Imagine being afraid of Scott Presler. Now they're saying they wouldn't let him in because he's press. Scott Presler's not press. He's a grassroots organizer. This is disingenuous. Yeah. John Thune's team's out here trying to cope, and they're getting destroyed and ratioed online and getting ripped. What a disaster. What a nightmare. How is this guy in the GOP? Yeah, seriously. The Sergeant at Arms has been fired after denying Scott Presler entry. Good riddance. Party chairman issues a public apology. I want to personally apologize for how things were handled at the GOP convention. This guy's been relieved of duty. Here you go. But he loves alcohol. Never trust a guy who is constantly posing with alcohol in his 50s, right? These are unhinged people. Scott Presler is out here doing hard work of turning red states redder. The GOP just got the message. No more gatekeeping, real conservatives and grassroots warriors. Time for unifying. Could you imagine being such a coward that you couldn't even stand up to Scott Presler? You demanded that the Secret Service kick out Scott Presler. You're this scared of guys with hair like, I don't know, Fabio. This is what scares John Thune the most. He's surrounded by Secret Service, but this 1980s Italian hotel manager is the thing that scares you. No, what actually scares John Thune is that we would demand that he do something and actually run the Senate, because 80 million people voted for Donald Trump and the Senate should be passing the Trump agenda, but they're not. That's what he's scared of. He's scared of being called out by the a group of people he can't ignore, his own voters. So that's what happened here. And it's humiliating for John Thune. We warned you about John Thune. We didn't want John Thune. We wanted Rick Scott. We said he was going to cuck, and here he is. But this is very embarrassing.